When informally assessing students, asking questions like, "Are there any questions?" or allowing students to opt out of answering is not acceptable. Informal assessment is when you call on students, require them to answer, or have them write something themselves. At this point, as a teacher, you can decide on 3 things. 1, to revisit points of confusion now or later. 2, to adjust an activity to clarify misconceptions. Or 3, decide that everything's going all right and move on with your lesson. If used properly, informal assessments can constantly influence your instruction. There are a wide variety of ways to check for understanding. Today, my students will show you some techniques. The first is the individual whiteboard. Students love being able to write on their whiteboards and have a chance to show off what they know. This is great for the middle of a lesson because once students have solved the problem, they can lift them up, show them to me quickly, and I can easily see who is having problems. See right here, I can see that one student forgot to borrow. So I can address this with her right away, or I can bring it back to the whole group to discuss as a whole. This is also easy because students have multiple problems, erase, and go again. The next group we have, students are going to use their hands and their bodies to show me what they know. In a recent unit on money, we were discussing the values of coins. So something that I could do is have students tell me, how much is a dime worth? They hold the answer in front of their bodies so that no one else can see the answer, but they still can. How much is a penny worth? How much is a nickel worth? This is a quick way for me to glance around the room to see who's struggling with what. Another way they can use their bodies is for true and false answers. Students raise one hand if an answer is true, and 2 if it is false. So we'll model with 1. An inclined plane is an example of a ramp, true or false? True, so I can see that everyone is clear on that point. Simple machines use electricity. So I see some confusion. Some people have 2, some have 1. So I know that that's something I have to go back and revisit as a whole group so that students can clarify. Another example is a written summary of what students are working on. Having students write about what they know and also write about what they are still struggling with helps me as a teacher understand what they're struggling with, but also helps them assess their own knowledge. Here, Michaela and Gianna are writing a summary of how culture was spread in the past and how culture is spread now. When I look over the summary, I can see what information students internalized and what gaps we still have there. We can go and address it either later in the day or in the next lesson tomorrow. Similar to this is the use of an exit card. An exit card is a simple thing that can be a very powerful tool for assessment. These can be done in a variety of methods, using Post-it notes, index cards, or something similar. They can be used for almost any subject on any topic. Here we see Chloe and Skyland using exit cards to show me what contractions mean. Over here, we have a group using index cards to show me how many quarters, dimes, pennies, and nickels are in a dollar. Looking over the exit cards and making notes, especially in math, is extremely helpful because I have a small sample of each student's work. Therefore, when I go home at night, I can see exactly what mistakes each student is making and address them as a whole. Having a clipboard or notebook at your side is critical. Here you can record observations from the lesson and make notes on what type of mistakes students are making. Also make sure that you are assessing in a meaningful way and in a way that will help you move forward with instruction. Don't constantly assess and then never use what you are learning. Instead, be intentional about what you are assessing and use the data that you accrue as a powerful tool in your classroom to help all students.